Senator Chris Coons just asked Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth a simple question. How do we reopen the Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping? Hegseth said they control the strait. He said the Iranian Navy had drone aircraft carriers and submarines. He said they sunk all of them. He said they've degraded their defense industrial base. He said they control what goes in and out.
We control what goes in and out, and we control whether or not we have to restart conflict. The president does as well.
Coons said the connection between Iran's ability to close the strait and the strategic goal of preventing a nuclear weapon is utterly unclear to him. He said the war has achieved tactical successes, but is on the verge of a strategic loss. He said average Americans are seeing this at the gas pump every single day. Hegseth said the question was disingenuous. Coons said he is not the enemy. He said he shares the goal. He asked again. Hegseth did not answer. Coons yielded. Let's watch.
Rise.
Thank you, Senator Murkowski. Mr. Secretary, I'm just going to follow up on the questions I asked in my first round and the questions that had been asked by members of both parties. In my assessment, there was no imminent threat to the United States that justified the president using his Article 2 powers, and there was insufficient preparation to make sure that we had the right troops, the right capability deployed. There used to be a consensus in national security that America should only go to war when there's an imminent threat to our national security, when all other options have been exhausted, and when we have clear objectives and a plan for how it ends. As General Kane testified, the military was given 3 clear goals: sink the Navy, attack and destroy the ballistic missile launchers, and degrade their defense industrial base, and you've accomplished those. But President Trump celebrated regime change after saying that regime change was the real goal. And our NATO allies have delivered. They have allowed overflight. They have allowed projection of force despite not being consulted. You said just a few moments ago, Mr. Secretary, we control the strait. But it's clear that reopening the Strait of Hormuz for commercial traffic eludes us, in no small part because Iran retains a robust stockpile of cheap, lethal Shahed drones, and they are getting help from our adversaries in rebuilding them. What is your plan for reopening the Strait of Hormuz, Mr. Secretary?
I would just note that the majority of your question was highly disingenuous and loaded with suggestions that I very much don't agree with. From the beginning,
please feel free, sir, to pick any one of those
From the
things.
beginning, we've been very clear about the military objectives and the underlying strategic objective, which is preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon.
Yes.
Take, for example, the fact that Iranians' conventional Navy, they had aircraft carriers with Shahed drones on them before this started. They had full-on destroyers and battleship capabilities, none of which they have anymore. And
did the Iranian Navy have aircraft carriers?
The Iranian Navy had 3 drone aircraft carriers. The Iranian Navy had 11
launch
submarines.
Platforms for drones, sure.
It had 11 submarines.
And you've sunk all of the regular Navy. Great. Good.
They retain fast boat capabilities, which they've always had. We understand that, which we can control for and will. We've degraded almost completely their defense industrial base capabilities. The idea that they control anything, you can terrorize something, you can hold it at issue with piracy, as I've talked about at the Pentagon podium time and time again. That doesn't mean you control it. We control what goes in and out, and we control whether or not we have to restart conflict. The president does as well.
Mr. Secretary,
we're the ones that will manage where this goes in the future, and they have very limited ability to set the tempo or respond to it, and that gives the president a lot of options to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon.
The connection between their ability to close the Strait of Hormuz using fast boats and Shahed drones and our strategic goal, shared broadly, to prevent them from ever having a usable nuclear weapon is utterly unclear to me. And my question was, what's the plan for reopening the Strait of Hormuz to commercial traffic, given skyrocketing
broadly, but never
prices?
executed. Shared broadly, but never executed, because previous administration didn't have the willingness to actually do what it would take. And when Iran was at its weakest moments following the 12-day war, but still wanted the pursuit of a nuclear capability, President Trump made the courageous decision to go at their conventional umbrella and shield, which they were using to protect their nuclear program, which we knew came with threats and branches and sequels.
My concern, Mr. Secretary, is that you've achieved a series of tactical successes, but are on the verge of a strategic loss. because we are now negotiating.
I just think it's so foolish.
demand.
Here we are in a committee in the United States Senate, 74 days in, and you're talking about strategic loss. We have the ability to
74
defeat a
days
47-year threat of a pursuit of a nuclear weapon. We have more leverage than we've ever had. We've had incredible battlefield successes, and you're talking about a strategic loss, cloaked in
Secretary.
disingenuous questions.
Mr. Secretary.
This is how you
Mr.
undercut
Secretary.
efforts that could otherwise and are otherwise
I
being
am not
very
your
effective.
enemy, sir. I am not your adversary. I share your goal of preventing Iran from ever having a usable nuclear weapon. To finish my sentence, control of the Strait of Hormuz, the ability to degrade our partners and allies' gas and oil production capabilities through cheap drones, the ability to harass and harry commercial shipping remains in Iran's hands. And their demands are that we recognize sovereignty for them over the Strait of Hormuz, which I believe our president's rejected, you've rejected, I reject. But my question remains, how do we reopen the Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping? If we control it, how do we reopen it? And your average American is seeing this at the gas pump every single day as the cost of gas continues to rise.
Senator Coons, I know that your question has not yet been responded to.
And it deserves an answer.
It does
But I also
deserve an
understand I'm
answer.
delaying my colleagues. But that's the question that deserves an answer, Mr. Secretary.
We do have Senator Kennedy followed by Senator Murphy, and I know that Secretary has a time departure.
Thank you for your indulgence,
thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Senator Chris Coons just delivered a masterclass in how to hold the Secretary of Defense accountable for the strategy, the objectives, and the consequences of a war that is stuck. He did not come with a speech. He came with questions. He came with the recognition that the war has achieved tactical successes but is on the verge of strategic failure. He came with the voice of the American people who are paying at the gas pump, and he left no doubt about the answer. The exchange between Coons and Hegseth was not just a routine oversight hearing. It was a confrontation about the fundamental question of whether the administration has a plan for victory or is simply muddling through. It was about whether the American people can trust their leaders to tell them the truth about the war and its costs. Coons began by laying out the framework. He said there used to be a consensus in national security that America should only go to war when there is an imminent threat, when all other options have been exhausted, and when there are clear objectives and a plan for how it ends. He said he did not believe there was an imminent threat. He said there was insufficient preparation. He said General Kane testified that the military was given 3 clear goals. He said those goals have been accomplished. But he said President Trump celebrated regime change after saying regime change was the real goal. That is a contradiction. The military was given one set of goals, the president has another. The American people are being told one thing. The president is saying another. The war is being fought for one purpose. The president is pursuing another. That is, it's an all over 50 years but doesn't fail. The battle is continuous in the worst of some countries that we abandon the world. I told you this, I was too busy to speak to mind and console, but I could say nothing but the war I wanted, I was fail. When the military and the president are not aligned, the war cannot be won. Coons then turned to the Strait of Hormuz. He said reopening it for commercial traffic elude us. He said Iran retains a robust stockpile of cheap, lethal Shahed drones. He said they are getting help from our adversaries in rebuilding them. He asked Hegseth what the plan is. Hegseth did not answer. He said the question was disingenuous. He listed the military successes. He said they sank the Iranian Navy. He said they degraded their defense industrial base. He said they control what goes in and out. He did not say how they will reopen the strait. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important shipping lanes in the world. 20% of the world's oil passes through it. When it is closed, energy prices spike. The American people pay more at the pump. The global economy suffers. Allies are hurt. The administration has not provided a plan for reopening it. They have not provided a timeline. They have not provided a strategy. They have provided nothing. Coons pressed. He said the connection between Iran's ability to close the strait and the strategic goal of preventing nuclear weapons is utterly unclear to him. He asked again. Hegseth did not answer. He said the previous administration did not have the willingness to do what it would take. He said Trump made the courageous decision. He did not say how they will reopen the strait. The connection between tactical successes and strategic objectives is unclear because there is no connection. The administration is fighting for tactical victories without a strategic plan. It is winning battles, but losing the war. It is destroying Iranian military capabilities, but not achieving its objectives. It is spending billions of dollars, but not providing a clear path to victory. That is not leadership. That is incompetence. Coons then made his point. He said the war has achieved tactical successes but is on the verge of a strategic loss. He said they are now negotiating. Hegseth said that is foolish. He said they have more leverage than ever. He said they have incredible battlefield successes. He said Coons is talking about a strategic loss. He did not answer the question. Hegseth's response was defensive. He attacked Coons. He said the question was disingenuous. He said it was foolish. He did not engage with the substance. He did not explain how they will achieve their objectives. He did not explain how they will reopen the strait. He did not explain how they will end the war. He attacked the questioner. That is a sign of weakness. Coons' argument is devastating. He did not need to prove that the war is failing. He only needed to show that the administration does not have a plan. He showed that the president's goals are different from the military's goals. He showed that the strait is still closed. He showed that Iran still has the ability to harass shipping. He showed that the American people are paying the price. He showed that Hegseth cannot answer a simple question. He showed that the war is stuck. The war has been going on for months. The administration has spent hundreds of billions of dollars. American service members had been killed and wounded. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Oh, this candidate something matters, and doesn't. The nuclear program is still intact. The regime is still in power. The administration has not achieved its objectives. It does not have a plan to achieve them. It is muddling through. The larger issue here is not just about the strait. It is about the conduct of the war. It is about whether the administration has a strategy for victory. Coons argued that it does not. He argued that the administration is muddling through. He argued that the war is on the verge of strategic failure. He was right. The United States cannot win a war without a plan. It cannot win a war without clear objectives. It cannot win a war without the support of the American people. The administration does not have any of those things. It has tactical successes. It has battlefield victories. It does not have a strategy for victory. The war is stuck. The administration is stuck. The American people are paying the price. The hearing ended without Hegseth offering a meaningful response. He sat there. He listened. He deflected. He attacked. He said the question was disingenuous. He said it was foolish. He did not answer the question. He did not explain how they will reopen the strait. He did not explain how they will achieve their objectives. He did not explain how they will end the war. He said nothing. Coons had done his job. He had held him accountable. He had exposed the lack of a plan. He had made it clear that the American people deserve better. The question now is whether the committee will act.